Alison Sargent joins me on the set today to take a look at what the papers have been saying. Hi, Alison.
Hey, Jeannie.
Now, you're going to start in the UK, where papers are focusing on the case of a British academic who was sentenced to life in prison by a court in the United Arab Emirates.
That's right. They accuse him of spying for the British government. His hearing reportedly lasted less than 5 minutes and took place without the presence of a lawyer. His name is Matthew Hedges. You can see him here on the front page of The Guardian with his wife. This verdict came as a big shock to many in the UK because it actually came just days after the UK Foreign Minister, Jeremy Hunt, had met with the UAE's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed, and people really thought that he had managed to convince him to do something about this man's case. The Guardian writes in their editorial, meanwhile, that Mr. Hedges' sentence is not only an injustice to him, but it's also a big slap in the face to the UK. And the paper calls on the UK Foreign Minister to follow through on warnings that he's given that there will be diplomatic consequences to this.
Another story, Alison, that's sparking a lot of interest in the papers is the story of an American tourist who was killed by tribespeople when he illegally trespassed on their land.
Right, this is in the North Sentinel Island. It's an island in the Indian Ocean, a very remote place. Reportedly, it's actually illegal to go within 5 kilometers because it is so dangerous. Even the Indian Navy stays away from this island. This man, John Allen Chow, paid local fishermen to take him there. They're the ones that then spotted his body the next day. This all happened over the weekend. A local paper from the neighboring Andaman and Nicobar Islands writes that rescue teams now don't know actually how they're going to go get the body because it would be dangerous for them to approach the island. Local authorities have registered a criminal case against the tribe members for this murder, although again, it's hard to imagine how they're going to get there to prosecute them.
Now, this story gets even thornier because this man who was killed just wasn't any tourist. Papers are saying he was a missionary hoping to bring this tribe toward Christianity.
That's right. He's someone who really knew the danger that he was getting himself into. Before he was killed, he actually wrote to his family telling them not to be angry if anything happened to him. His dream was really to convert the people on the island to Christianity, and he did succeed in interacting with them. A first time, he brought them gifts like a football, scissors, and fish. They eventually, though, became angry and shot an arrow at him, causing him to leave the island and then write about it in his diary, but then he went back a second time, and that's when he was killed. The fact, though, that he did manage to interact with them at all is sort of impressive, I guess you could say. French paper L'Obs writes that only one other person was able to do it before, an explorer in 1991. But the paper gives reasons, very good reasons, to stay away from the island, not only for your own safety, but also for the tribespeople who live there. The nonprofit Survival International says they're one of the most vulnerable societies on the planet. They're estimated to number only about 100 people, although again, it's hard to know. And they've been living in isolation for over 60,000 years and could easily be entirely wiped out by an epidemic as simple as the flu.
It's incredible that still exists. All right, Alison, let's change gears here a little bit. Today is Thanksgiving, if you're American, a huge holiday there. And one American couple made a very lucky discovery while getting their house ready to celebrate Thanksgiving.
That's right. They found a lottery ticket worth a whopping $1.8 million. A very lucky discovery. You can see them there looking very happy with their check. This is from the website NOLA, which is from Louisiana, where this couple is from. They found the ticket on their bedside table, and it's a really good thing that they did find it at this time because it dated all the way back to June and actually would have expired in just 2 weeks. They say now that they still have no idea yet what they're going to do with that money, but I think purchasing some big turkeys for a Thanksgiving feast would be a good start.
It's amazing they even thought to check the number on the lottery ticket. I don't think I would have just gone in the bin. Anyway, speaking of giant turkeys, many papers are reporting that they're actually no longer fashionable in the United States. Instead, it's all about mini turkeys.
That's right. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that there's more and more demand growing for smaller turkeys. This, of course, has caused many in the media to lament the end of the classic Thanksgiving dinner with the massive turkey that leaves you with leftovers for days. Who is getting blamed for this? Of course, no one but millennials. Forbes writes that millennials worry about waste and also prefer free-range birds, which tend to be smaller. It's not necessarily a choice, though. The magazine also writes that millennials have less money than their parents' generation. They live in smaller homes with less space to cook. Many are also single and without children, so all of these reasons that they're choosing smaller birds. Finally, and perhaps the real reason, you could say only 42% of millennials actually know how to carve a turkey. And so maybe they're just opting for the easier option.
And I guess that's better than just a turkey leg, which I did once very depressingly one Thanksgiving here in Paris. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving to you if you celebrate it. Let's just wrap up now here in Paris with a story about a neighborhood that's been invaded by bears.
That's right, Jeannie. And before you get nervous, you should take a look at this photo to get a sense of what type of bear invasion this actually is. Of course, these are stuffed bears. This is in the Gobelin area in the 13th arrondissement, which is in the southeast of Paris. I should say this story was flagged up to me by Deepti, our normal press reviewer. These bears have been popping up in various places for obvious reasons. It's really enchanted the local population. The negative among us might imagine that it's all part of a clever marketing ploy, but it turns out it's exactly the opposite. This was all just the project of a local bookseller, a bookshop owner. His neighbors told Le Parisien that he's really just a positive guy. He wanted to help bring the neighborhood together. Of course, these bears have their own Instagram account, because who doesn't these days? Kind of an effort to bring the positivity outside of the neighborhood, so something to check out if you need a boost today.
That's great. Thank you so much for that, Allison. Allison Sargent there with today's press review. You can get a closer look at that, of course, on the website. The address is france24.com.